good to have you here with me today. I'm James Pennington, the Executive Director of Back Bay Mission. So I was sitting outside a coffee shop in Ocean Springs this morning around 6 a.m. thinking about this reflection today, which we're filming around 10 o'clock on Thursday. And I was sipping my red eye coffee, if you know what red eye coffee is. It's regular brewed coffee with a couple of shots, not of alcohol, but of other coffee to make it a little bit extra strong. And as I was sitting there, I was watching, because this is pretty close to the coast, I was watching these gray and white clouds kind of move in. It looked like off the coast. And I still don't really understand the weather patterns here on the coast. It seems like we get a little bit of rain every day, either from the east, the west, the north, or the south, or coming through the Gulf. But as I was sitting there at Desperado, it was literally magical. It was kind of that magical moment from when you see clouds kind of converging, right? And I heard thunder in the distance. And I was sitting outside partly because COVID and the variant are off the charts here in Mississippi right now. Yesterday, there were 3,100 new cases. Already today, they're reporting over 4,400, which is the highest daily case we've ever had in Mississippi. And as we speak right now, I understand that they're setting up a medical tent outside the Ocean Springs Hospital, and all of the hospitals here along the coast are stretched. And, you know, healthcare workers and nurses and doctors and those working in the hospitals, they're essential and they're stretched and they're exhausted. So I would ask today that you send them some special goodness and love. And as I was sitting there watching the clouds converge, and as I was thinking about COVID, and I was thinking about what we went through yesterday at Back Bay Mission as it relates to COVID, I asked myself, so self, how can such beauty and such pain live side by side? Such beauty and such pain. You know, one of those quintessential questions that everybody asks is why is there so much evil and suffering in the world? And why is there this ongoing clash between good and evil, between right and wrong? And I also asked myself, how are we going to weather this COVID storm now into year 2? In Back Bay Mission, we're essential to the populations we serve, and we have to keep on keeping on. And I was also throwing out questions into the universe and actually on the paper here about how do we do what we do as safely as possible, keeping our staff and our guests safe at the same time. And as a certified spiritual director, we are trained to ask this particular question initially of the individuals we meet with is where do you see God in this? Where do you see God in this situation? Or where do you see God in your life right now? However you understand God. And as I was gazing into those storm clouds, my friend and a friend of the mission, Yvonne Harrison from Phoenix, Arizona, who works in the healthcare industry herself at Mayo, sent a text to me and 2 of our other close friends saying, "Reset the world, it's a new day." That came onto my screen on my phone about 6:45. Reset the world, it's a new day. Well, guess what? Fortunately, I saw God in those words in that moment. I saw the source of life or energy of life in those words, because those were words of encouragement for me to reset the day and think anew. And I thought about this in the context of where we find our world right now, where we find our corporate humanity. Last week I talked about coming together around COVID, masks, and vaccines, rather than letting these issues tear us apart. And right now, of course, it seems as children have gone back to school and teenagers have gone back, that we're kind of split on masking, not masking, face-to-face education or virtual education. And then as I'm thinking, and one of the individuals on this thread of text said, coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, but working together is success. And I thought about how here at Back Bay, we come together, we keep together and keep working together, and then we find that as we work together more deeply, that we find places of success or wins. Yesterday, we received the news that one of our staff who has COVID now has pneumonia. We found out that our intern's husband has COVID. And I'll tell you, when I got those messages, I did want to reset the world. I also knew I needed to accept and relish in this new day. I desired to see the divine energy in this current surge of pandemic numbers. But right off at 7 a.m., I got another text from one of our members who had received her second shot and was with a relative over the weekend who was COVID positive but fully vaccinated. And again, in a sense, that reset was interrupted, right? That I really do care about the staff of Back Bay. Each individual brings such beautiful giftedness to the work we do here. Even after 5 months, I've grown so fond. And so when I find out that one more of our staff and our intern, right, are suffering the effects of COVID, makes me sad. And sometimes it's really difficult to reset. I recently read a book, though, by Steve Maraboli, and he's kind of a motivational speaker and maybe a little bit too trendy for me. I like to read stuff that's off, but the title of the book really engaged me. And the title is Unapologetically You, Reflections on Life and Human Experience. And this is a short quote from his book. He says, "Today is a new day. It's a day you have never seen before and will never see again. Stop telling yourself, same crap, different day, because that's a lie. How many days has that lie stolen from you? Seize the wonder and uniqueness of today," he says. "Recognize that throughout this beautiful day, you have an incredible amount of opportunities to move your life in the direction you want it to go." So as I read that this morning, I reread that because I thought it was really a very important quote, that maybe this is the time in our unique human journey and our individual journeys for us as a human race to do what Steve Maraboli says, seize the uniqueness of and the wonder of this day. That's going to be different for you. That's going to be different for me. You know, because each day we have opportunities to react to the day, to react to what happens, to, as my friend Yvonne says, to reset the day, to take a different direction, at least in our minds and our hearts and our spirits, no matter what's happening around us, to take those few deep breaths and reset and rethink, and maybe allow ourselves to lose some of our panic and fear right now. It reminds me of that ever popular phrase that we throw around, seize the day, carpe diem. What does seize the day literally means? In Latin, of course, carpe diem, it refers to doing things you have the chance to instead of waiting for a later time. Do them now rather than wait, or literally means pluck the day. Seize the day means making the most of your life in this exact moment. Not to let yourself wander to the past in your thoughts, nor should you be distracted with the future. Instead, focus on what you can accomplish in the present moment and make the most of it. Those are really relevant words for me right now. And just as I get ready to leave the coffee shop around 7:30 to head back here to Back Bay, a man by the name of Nolan walks out of the coffee shop. And the beautiful thing about being in Mississippi, I find Mississippians, they say hello, how's your day, right? And they really mean it. Well, he said hello, I said hello, asked him how his day was going. He was kind of in clothes with paint all over him. And he said he was off to a job. Well, that kind of started the conversation, right? And delayed my arrival to Back Bay Mission. He shared he's a handyman, he's a locksmith, he's a painter, he's a jack of all trades. He said he grew up dirt poor in a small town of Louisiana. But I have to say, he also disclosed that he was an incredibly deep spiritual thinker. He said, you know, I don't have much education, but he said, I've read, I've studied, and he said, there's a lot more to this life than what we can see. And he said, we are energy. And then he said, God is divine energy and lives in each of us. That's the energy of the divine, the creative energy. And that we're all connected to the soil. We're all connected to the earth. We're connected to everything. And he says, I'm connected to the tree over there. You're connected to the tree. And I said, well, I'm connected to this wooden picnic table I'm sitting on, right? We're all interconnected. And after about a 15-minute conversation, I have to say, my spirit was enlightened by Nolan, who shared from his spirit to my spirit, encouraging me to embrace the day, encouraging me to step into this day, encouraging me to restart, right, this day, and to restart my heart, my mind, and my spirit in a new and a fresh way. So what I'm saying today, I guess, is maybe be like a Mississippian. When you see folks that are strangers, say hello, introduce yourself, tell them to have a good day, and maybe find ways or places that you can share humanity in and restart the day. I think for many of the individuals that take advantage of the Micah Day Center, when they walk into that space, out of the woods or off the beach or from underneath a bridge, and they walk in there and they're greeted by Deborah, and they're greeted by Kirsten as the case manager, or Sarah, or Kenny. And there's an ability to relax and sit still for a few hours, to get a fresh cup of coffee, a snack, to get some clean clothes, to take a shower, to do your laundry. You know, there's an opportunity for them to reset their day. And so I'd encourage you to think about that, think about Back Bay Mission, and just think today about maybe it's time to just start each day with a reset, to find out what your sense of calling is in any particular day, at any particular time, to not be so gripped by fear and anxiety, which so many of us are right now, to not necessarily live in the past, live in the future, but live kind of in this present moment, and take care of those around you, and take care of yourself. And make sure to just reset the day whenever you need that reset button. So I encourage you to have a great day. Encourage you to support Back Bay Mission by sending us really good restart the day energy, by sending us your gifts, by coming down and volunteering when it's safe to do so. So we appreciate you and ask for your continued prayers, your continued gifts, and your continued energy. So thanks for joining me today.